The 87 Lakers have been in 2K for some time now. I'm not really sure when they entered, but in each year they always have a case to be called the best team in the game. Before the footage you're about to watch, I'd never actually played with this team, but I played against them and it took me a long time to figure out how to beat them because they just have so many weapons and so many different playstyles they can use. I do want to mention before I go any further that this is going to be 2 games in one video because I made the first guy quit and the game hadn't gotten that far yet, so I definitely wanted a bigger sample size to see what I could do with this team and a better opponent. First off, I'm going to talk about something that I didn't actually do, but it is something that you could do with this team, and if you go and look in the lineups, you see that you have AC Green at power forward and James Worthy at small forward. Well, if you play small ball with this team, they can be very deadly. The best thing you can do for yourself if you're playing with this squad is give Magic Johnson space because he's the key to everything here. And while James Worthy is a really good player, he's not a knockdown shooter from the 3-point line, so what you can do to counteract that is start James Worthy at power forward and move Michael Cooper to the small forward position, so then you have 2 knockdown shooters on the wings. And on top of that, Michael Cooper is a really good defender, so that adds some more defense to your lineup. Now, the trade-off for that is that Michael Cooper is rated an 86, so he's almost a 90 rated player coming off the bench, and that's something that's really helpful. So since I like to have a punch off the bench, I kept him there, and I guess it just kind of depends on what kind of team you're playing, because obviously you wouldn't want James Worthy at the power forward spot if you're going up against a team that has good bigs. So this is how I went about using the Lakers. Basically, this team is like the Bucks in episode 3 on many steroids, because that team had Oscar Robertson, who I said was a really big point guard, and because of that I was able to create a bunch of mismatches. Well, it works the same way with Magic Johnson, and it works much better. For some reason, Magic Johnson is just one of the players that tends to make most of his layups in this game, because you guys know that even when you're using superstar players, there is definitely a problem with the timing of the layups, and for the few games I used the 87 Lakers, that really wasn't a problem. And what you're going to see in this gameplay is that I pretty much just wrecked these dudes with Magic Johnson because that was the playstyle I chose. See, the thing is, I've actually played against the 87 Lakers this year because people do like to use them online, so it's giving me an idea of how to defend them. And when I go up against these guys, it's pretty much the same philosophy as when I play the Thunder. I always try to get the ball out of Magic Johnson's hands because he's the guy who can do the most damage. Unlike the Bucks video, this guy didn't leave Jeremy Lin out to dry because I said when you have a tall point guard, the last thing you want is the regular point guard guarding him. So he put J.R. Smith on Magic Johnson, and it just really didn't do much because he couldn't play on-ball defense for 1. And 2, I chose to run the offense solely through Magic in that game, so it was really just more about waiting for him to make mistakes and capitalizing. Like, I think the one that made him quit was, for some reason he thought Magic couldn't hit a mid-range shot, so he was playing all the way off of him and I just knocked it down. It was pretty easy. So like I said, as a team, there's just so many options here because you can play out of the post with Magic Johnson, you can definitely do the run and gun just like the Showtime Lakers, and even after all of that, there's still Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who like Magic doesn't miss a whole lot of layups. About the run and gun style, I'm not really sure how much I used it in the 2 gameplays because I was really running more of a half-court offense, but the next time I use the 87 Lakers, I'm going to make sure I turn my settings to run in transition because that's what you really want to do with this team, especially with Magic Johnson, and if you're going to have 2 shooters on the wings like I said earlier with Cooper and Scott, that would work really well. So just like I did in my last Celtics video, I wanted to give some tips on how to guard this team in case you run into them because like I said, they are kind of frequent. And just like I said with Larry Bird, and it's my philosophy with the Oklahoma City Thunder, don't just sit there and watch the best player get off. I'm not sure which episode it's going to be, but I do play against the 87 Lakers in the future, and what you're going to see in that footage is the strategy that I try to use is really disrupt their offense by aggressively defending Magic Johnson, and I'm talking about trapping him, double teaming him, not letting him dribble around and survey the court and looking for options, because as you've seen in these 2 gameplays, my opponents were really giving me all the time in the world to just set up whatever I wanted to do with Magic Johnson. If I wanted to post up, I could do that. If I wanted to just bully my way to the rim, I could do that. And if you're going to let a guy like Magic Johnson or Larry Bird just catch fire, that's the momentum right there, and then it's really over for you at that point. So as I said at the beginning, there's just so many options with this team, so many different ways that you can play with them, and the fact that I haven't even talked about James Worthy just shows you how stacked this team really is. To be honest, I'm gonna have to play some more games to get used to James Worthy because none of my focus was on him. I was able to eat all game with Magic Johnson, so I really didn't focus much on him, but I know he's athletic, he's a good defender, he can get to the rim, but the fact that he's lacking a knockdown shot or I just can't really pull up off the dribble with him, it makes him a 3rd option, and I honestly don't go to him if I don't have to. With these 5-minute quarters, Magic Johnson, Kareem, and these knockdown shooters in Scott and Cooper, that's really enough. I was able to get the job done with just that, but the next time I play with him, like I said, I'm going to set the offense to run in transition, so I'm sure when that happens, James Worthy, his value is really going to shoot up then because of his athleticism, and of course being on the break with Magic Johnson, I can make a lot of highlights with that. So anyways, the 87 Lakers are as good as advertised. I played against them again in that association I keep bringing up from NBA 2K16, and some of my best games came against those guys. It was extremely difficult to guard Magic Johnson, and now I see why, cause playing with him, he has pretty much unlimited power besides a consistent 3-point shot. Anyways, I enjoy playing with this team, and I'm sure I'll get back to them at some point. Hit the like button, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications on future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys with the next team.